earthing is not thunder protection.
Politics, business, entertainment, yeah, face to face.
Welcome you to another segment of your wonderful program that comes to you every weekday Wednesdays on Face to Face TV. Let's talk electricals. Today we have the wonderful topic we're going to discuss. I will have a wonderful guest, an engineer in the field. I'm your host. My name is Chuzio Yeso. And today we have our engineer here, Engineer Chinedu. He is the CEO of OJM Electrical. When it comes to anything called electrical installation, fixing, solar installation, whatever you can think of, he is the grandmaster. And that is why we have him here on this show today. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Mr. Chuse.
Thank you.
Our audience, thank you all for having me again today. I greet you all. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, whenever you'll be listening to this, or dependent on the country or location where you are. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure having you. I know having a grandmaster of electrical field, so you should, what our audience should expect, we should be grand. And today we are coming to discuss a very wonderful topic that says, earthing is not thunder protection. Well, I'm a layman, sir. So we have to do it in a layman's understanding. So as a layman, does it mean earthing? Because for as a layman, that means since we are living on the earth, that means we are here on the earth. So or does it mean that the word earthing has a different terminology when it comes to the electrical field?
Yeah, so earthing is actually a definitive term in the electrical industry.
Okay.
Yeah, so the reason why we call earthing is because it has something to do with the earth.
Okay.
So earthing probably in the definitive form or probably in the comprehensive definition, we will say it is the process of conducting metal parts to the earth or to the ground. So metal parts, conducting them or routing them to the earth.
So it's not the process of we living in the earth.
No.
Okay, the process of conducting metal parts to the earth. Okay. So what is now thunder protection? Because once we know, so as a layman, does it mean there's a difference between earthing and the thunder protection? Because once you do the earthing, the thunder has been already protected.
Definitely, and this is actually one of the myths that we are struggling with in the electrical industry. Just that this segment is bringing clarity to electrical misconceptions.
Yes.
So, just to start with, thunder protection is not also a definitive term in the electrical industry. So, what
are you trying to say that the word thunder protection is wrong? Like it's a layman's
cultural shorthand.
Okay, it's a cultural shorthand.
No, normally we call it thunder.
Yeah.
But probably when you go into in-depth scientifically, you notice that it is actually lighting.
Okay.
That causes that thundering strike we hear about, right? So in our industry, we call it lighting protection system because there won't be any thunder without lighting strike.
Yeah, there won't be any thunder without lighting.
Yeah. So kind of it teaches to be that.
Okay. So what's the difference?
Okay, so the process of doing thunder earthing looks similar to thunder protection. Okay. So, but the difference is that earthing is conducting metal parts or bonding metal parts. Now, sometimes we call it grounding as well. So, okay, let me give you a simple illustration. Most of our receptacles, that when I say receptacle, I mean sockets, your 13-amp sockets, you see it has three legs.
I've learned a word today. Receptacles. I hope our audience you are learning. Continue. So, that's why you're the grandmaster.
So it has three prongs.
Okay.
So that three prongs, one is life, one is neutral, and the other bigger one is the earth.
Okay.
So what that means is that every electrical appliances have the ability to emit excessive charges. Let's just take it away from the fact that earthing is actually there to protect us from electrical faults or excessive electrical charges or any kind of just any loose connection that could cause electrical mishap that can shock us or electrocute us. Okay. Away from that, every electrical appliances have the ability to emit little charges. So those charges they emit, when compounded, can cause electrical shock to a living human being. So what that earthing does is to be draining those little, just very little, they are very minute, 0.000 milliamps, just very minute. It will just be taking them down to the earth, right? Then, aside from that, when there is now a potential electrical shock, it drains it down to the earth as well. Okay. Not only draining it, it also helps to trigger the circuit breaker, which we call ELCB, which is earth leakage circuit breaker, to trip off, thereby protecting our system. Now, lighting protection system, which we generally know as thunder protection, helps to direct the thunder or the lightning strikes down to the earth as well.
Down to the earth.
Yes.
So that means by implication, you cannot do thunder protection. Oh, sorry.
Earth.
Lighting protection system.
Okay.
So you see, I got you on that one. Now, once you're doing the lighting protection system, that means cumulatively, it also works together with the earthing system.
Its own job is a little bit different.
Okay.
In as much as both of them have been buried inside the earth.
Yes.
But the job of the lighting protection is to identify a potential thunder strike and then direct it down to the earth. Thereby, it cannot probably damage anything within the vicinity when the thunder strike is actually happening. Now, let me go more deeper. Thunder is actually, most of them are positively charged.
Okay.
So that's the reason why when it comes in contact with a human being, it can drain you. So meaning that they have voltages in them that can cause potential hazard. Now, by findings, they say these voltages can be up to 300 million voltages. In proper context, what we use in Nigeria is 220 volts. Just imagine when 300 million volts comes in contact with anything.
With a human being. Wow, the person will shine back.
Immediately. So what that thunder protection system does is actually to direct this thunder strike down to the earth.
Okay.
Simple.
Thank you. You are really educating us to be candid. I have to be candid. Now, what will you give to an advice you give to someone who has a building or who is intending to build a home? Because since you told us now that the lightning that comes from the lightning, it has a voltage of about 300 million.
Yeah. Most of them sometimes.
That's too big.
Very, very big.
Now, so what will you advise? Because some persons, I've seen some persons they say they did earthing in their homes. They don't need thunder protection. Some people say they did thunder protection. So what's advice? Since you are a grandmaster, see the way you're opening your eyes, so what advice would you give?
Okay, so what would I advise is that customers shouldn't risk it.
Okay.
It's very, very hazardous to risk it. Now, yeah?
They must do the two.
Yes.
Okay, not you do this one and leave this one.
No. Let me just give this example. I think I gave this illustration using when we're talking about electrical fires.
Okay.
Lighting protection system and earthing are just like a protective systems, right? That prevents something to happen. Prevents something to happen, right? So it's just like you having last man, if it's supposed to be in Lagos, last man and the road safety. Both of them are actually
taking
definitely, but integrally their job functions are different. Road safety are actually there for roadworthiness, checking car worthiness,
yes,
complying on roads. While last man might be probably you defaulting any traffic rules or problem, you understand? Yeah. But both of them are similarly doing the same thing, but they have different. So you can't say last man cannot be checking what road safety people are checking.
So by implication, you are saying that once anybody building a home, this one is not like you want to eat rice. It is rice and stew. You put the two together. It's not like I want to eat white rice.
To be jollof.
Okay, it's not going to be jollof. You're not doing jollof. It's white rice and stew, and the two of them must cumulatively come together.
Definitely.
Okay. So that is a process at which we could minimize the risk.
Yes, so do earthing.
Okay.
Earthing has its own job to do. I've already said it prevents us from being electrocuted for the electrical shock. And also I gave a very rare illustration, which is every electrical appliance emits little charges. So that earthing, what it does is just keep burning, so you don't even notice it. That means if you touch something like this, it will shock you. Even if it's metal, it will shock you. Right? And even if probably there is a live wire that is resting on this, and then you come in contact with this. If this place is properly heated, it will also as well supposed to be a very huge hand to you, right? Why thunder protection? Earthing doesn't protect against thunder.
Earthing does not protect against thunder.
Yes. Earthing doesn't protect against thunder. It doesn't.
That means I want to ask now. This what you just said now is drawing me to ask one question.
Okay.
Since earthing does not protect against, does it mean that if we have our home has been earthed,
yeah,
our office space has been earthed,
yeah,
that means lightning can still come?
Definitely, it can come, strike, and destroy something. Now, when we talk about thunder, I'm not talking about it based on what we learned in school.
Yes.
It has happened to me. On one beautiful day like that, it was raining and my television was on, thunderstroke, and then what I actually got to be probably a result was that my television got burnt.
Even grandmaster.
Yeah, I mean,
Even as a grandmaster you are. And I know your home should have been earthed and every other thing.
Yes, that was quite over a decade ago.
Okay.
Probably when I was in a rented apartment, right?
Okay.
So that happened. So it happened, and it was probably very, very visible.
Okay.
Very, very visible, and then my television got burnt beyond repair. Nobody said make it go repair something. It was just replace it with another television. So a couple of 2 decades ago, that was when that thing happened. When I was still with my parents, that was our house was earthed, but I was not under protection.
Your house was earthed?
Yes, we have earthing.
You are confusing me.
We have earthing.
No, you see where you're confusing.
Okay.
You told us now that it's not under protection.
Yeah.
You are still calling under protection.
No. I'm trying to probably still...
We are being laymen. You're indoctrinating us and enlightening us.
There is no way...
There is a lightning system.
There is no way this particular podcast can ignore the fact that it's called under protection by laymen. It's already a general cultural shorthand. Now, let me give you an illustration. If you go down here, enter a bus, and start telling them, I want to alight.
Who knows alight?
You will reach Port Harcourt. You will reach Port Harcourt today. So you must use the terminology that everybody understand
and flows with.
Yeah, probably by speaking with
your colleagues.
Yes, colleagues or learned professionals.
You are teaching us now. That is why you are the grandmaster in the field. So okay, that means invariably, like you just explained.
Yeah.
Even if the home is earthed,
yeah,
it does not. If it doesn't have the lightning protection system,
yeah,
the lightning can still come
to
the home.
It can
and destroy something.
Yeah.
So what he's saying, this is coming from the grandmaster. He's saying that one, even with being your home has been earthed, you should also have the lightning protection system.
Yeah.
That is what can guarantee the safety
of everything, both from thunder and both from electrical.
Is it 100%?
Yeah. If we have them, so I need to hint on this. Not all earthing or thunder protections are effective.
Okay.
That's the reason why we have a device we use in checking whether they are effective.
Do we renew it? Is it once it's done for life?
No. Earthing needs maintenance.
Okay.
Both earthing and thunder protection needs maintenance.
Wow.
So that's what we call an earth chamber. I find it funny, although it has actually got to be a norm.
Yes.
Everybody.
Once you build the house, you've done earthing and nobody remembers it again. That's what.
Yes.
That means it has a chamber. Maintenance.
Normal earthing or thunder protection have a chamber. We have what we call an earth chamber.
Okay.
You use it on top of the pit where you conducted either the earthing on the thunder protection. Usually, we used to run a pipe, probably a hose or whatever, where water can be draining inside where those your components are being exposed inside the earth. So that sometimes you can be adding water. Because what happens is that while this earthing or thunder protection is functional, what they are doing is they're draining the wet inside the ground.
Okay.
Once a voltages comes inside the ground, what it does is to emit those wet inside the ground. That's the reason why Most of the materials we use in earthing or thunder protection are something that can retain moisture or wet.
Okay, they use something like that.
Yeah, materials that can retain moisture or wet. Because once this wet or moisture escape the ground where your component is, it becomes ineffective.
So because I've seen people who do earthing, they will just buy salt.
Oh, yeah.
The only salt you just put there.
No,
there are some
we
other
have several materials like animal dung. We have the bentonite. We have the charcoal, and then we have other materials. Right? I may not be mentioning most of our secret recipe we use in conducting our
That means they will have to come and consult you, or you consult me through him. Okay, this is an eye opener. They're opening our eyes so much that at least we've learned now that it's called lightning protection system.
Yeah.
Basically thunder protection. But to the layman's language, we can call it thunder protection. He has also briefed us to know that one, even if your home has been earthed, it's no guarantee that one, the lightning cannot penetrate.
Yeah.
It must commutatively come with the lightning protection system. This is not, it's like rice. You will not eat it with only this thing. You will not do it jollof. It is either rice and stew. Yeah. It's like your soup. Your soup will go with swallow. Compulsory. You understand? So the two must come together. I hope I'm on the right track. This is coming from the Grandmaster himself. So what are the mites and this thing you could tell us that?
Okay. That probably might be causing confusion.
Yes.
Between that.
The confusion between these two.
Okay. So the people actually thought, probably laymen, just like you've actually been mentioning. So since both of them goes inside the ground,
yes,
there is no need of doing both.
That's the thing.
There is one other very, very dangerous one I see most technicians do. Most of the times I'm being pressured by the client to do so. That is by burying both the earthing and the thunder protection inside one pit.
Okay, wait. This is an eye opener. That means one, the earthing and the thunder protection, because I've seen some persons do. Let me be candid.
Okay.
They go inside one pit.
Oh shit.
So what they are trying to tell us is that they should not go inside one pit.
No. That's very, very dangerous. Initially, I talked about that it has been proven that most of this lightning strike can be up to 300 million voltage.
Yes, that's what he said.
And then the division of earthing said that it's actually conducting metal parts to the earth.
Okay.
Just imagine that the thunder is connected to the earth body. 300 million voltage transfer from thunder down to your earthing and enters into your house.
The same place.
Just imagine what will happen.
Wow. Okay.
Just imagine what will happen. Even standardly, I don't know whether that standard has changed. Okay. At least the earthing pit should be above 6 meters from the thunder protection pit. Even if you want to bury both of them, but one should be about 6 meters away from each other. The pit should be 6 meters away from each other.
So they should not be even the same.
No.
Even if you are to come close, the closeness should be like
6 meters.
Wow. Audience, I hope we're learning. Like even me now, this is an eye opener.
Yeah.
Now, but there's a question I want to ask.
Okay.
Now, in the earthing system,
yeah,
does the house, the standard of the house, the capacity of the house, does it determine the size of the house?
Yeah.
Or the home, the building, whatever, does it determine like the earthing you put, the thunder protection you put in a mall?
Yes, that's
it. Different from the one you put in 3-bedroom apartment?
That's a very good question.
Once you do it, what is everything goes there?
That's a very good question. A very good question. Now, the components you use or the size of the components you use when you conducted earthing for a bungalow, definitely won't be the same thing for a story building or duplex or 3-story building or even industrial areas.
It will not be the same.
Yes, if you have you seen them doing earthing for transformer? It looks like something they use an excavator for. The size or the diameter for that earth pit will be just as big as this. Very, very big. So while we are talking about protecting the transformer, right? Distribute powers to our homes.
Okay.
And then ideally, somebody must have thought, is it not the same earthing now?
That's the thing now, because once you said earthing, that's why I asked the question.
Is it not the same
earthing now?
So, excuse me, let's just likely do it the way we used to do it before. No, the size of the building determines the size of the earthing you do. In some places, it might be more than 1 pit for earthing only.
For earthing only?
I kid you not. In some cases, it can be more than 1 pit for the earthing. Right? It can be 2, 3, 4 pits.
Wow.
Earthing, then you will now parallel all of them together to protect the building.
That means the size of the building. As the earthing size is increasing, that means the cost effective is also increasing.
Yes.
So that means that, because we've seen, why I asked this question, we've seen where in some places you said, how much you used to do your earthing and your this. The person will say, is this, you will now get another electrician that will, or technician that will tell you, don't worry, I have someone that will do it with this price.
Definitely, and this is actually what is ravaging the electrical industry. Now, there are lots of technicalities to as the size or how to go about what the size of the earthing piece should look like, or the quantity of the materials, or even the size of the materials to use, right? Because just like I said, we have a tool. Currently, we have it in OJM. It's not a rampart tool. It's quite very, very rare. We use it in testing earthing systems.
You see why you are grandmaster. He has almost every tool.
Yeah.
That's why we always need to meet him, patronize him. Don't worry, you consult him through me.
So with that, just like I said, there are some technicalities in issue. So you just get to understand the earthing need of that particular home, and then you convert it to what you can do technically, right?
Okay.
Yes. And that is for, if you want to know about it, you must be a technician. So it's not for customers.
It's not for customers.
No.
Okay. Now, you've answered that. I hope we are following our audience. Some of us will be like, so let not be like, you met this engineer. The person told you, the cost of the quotation for this earthing is costly. There is this other, the size of what you are building determines what your home or whatever you have. Okay, I think the appliances in the building also, is it also a determinant factor?
That's why I said, when we go in depth, there are several things will not cause that determinant factors that we put in, but it's clearly for technicians.
Okay, it's clearly for technicians.
Clearly for technicians, yeah.
That is why we need to meet you. I hope our audience will follow you.
I'm trying to not unverse several things that might be proprietary to a company, right?
Okay.
Because so many people that actually conduct earthing or thunder protection system installation, they don't consider all these things. So there are some things I'll be saying now, I'll be giving them a hint or a tip. That is actually our own secret recipe.
That means they need to come and meet you.
Definitely, if you want the best.
Okay, if you want the best. That is why you always meet the grandmaster. That is why he's the best. Now, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time we've been joining. I hope we are learning so much. We've learned so much. He has taught us that it's not, I will repeat it again, it's not called thunder protection. It's lightning protecting system. That means there are a lot of things. That is why when you meet them, they will give you quotation of the things they need, materials they need.
Yeah.
Before you get that lightning protection system and the earthing pattern. We've learned that one. We've also learned that one in the earthing, the size of the building, what we're building. Is the land topography, the area, does it also matter?
Yeah, it matters.
The area also matters?
Yeah.
So all those things are determinant factors.
We need to mention something.
Okay.
Probably it can also as well be a hint for the practitioners out there. So the land topography or the soil texture, in most cases also as well, is a very big consideration while conducting probably earthing or whatever. That will also as well determine the depth of the thunder protection or the earthing protection system. Wow. Because I told you that these systems work with wealth or moisture. So if probably that you are, let's say for example, Enugu, where we probably before you get water, you must dig.
Yes.
In that cases, we must have an earth chamber.
Where
we will occasionally pour water into that earth chamber.
Okay.
So without that, your earthing system will become extinct one day or becomes ineffective one day. But most probably practitioners don't understand this. So the area where you want to conduct this, either the earthing or the thunder protection system, also determine how it's going to look like
at the end of the day.
That was why you talked about that the earthing system. It needs maintenance.
Yeah, it needs maintenance.
It needs maintenance.
Yeah.
I've learned so much today, and that is why we always need to join this wonderful program. And you can only get this thought-provoking and enlightening program from Face to Face. That is why Face to Face is the best, and we always get the best for you. And that is why we are having the grandmaster when it comes to anything electrical, OJM Electricals. And he has taught us that even the earthing system and the lighting, it needs maintenance. But there is one thing now you have to brief us.
Okay.
Like we said, my home is being earthed.
Yeah.
Alone. That does not mean, or it means to a layman.
Yeah.
But you just told us that it does not mean that.
Yeah.
That there is no, it will not be affected by the lightning. If my home, what if my home has only the lightning protection system? Does it mean it will not be affected by the lightning? These are the myths and these things people don't. So explain to us so that maybe from here we can round up.
Okay. So let me come in here. Let me cite another illustration.
Maybe a practical one.
A practical illustration.
Thank you.
Earthing is like fencing your house.
Okay, earthing is like fencing my home.
Then the barbed wire you add on top of the fence is not the lighting protection system. Now that you did fencing doesn't mean that who wants to jump in cannot jump in.
Anybody can jump in.
But when they see electric fencing around the building, it will deter them from jumping in. So both of them have their works to do individually.
Yeah.
If you have thunder protection system, beautiful. It safeguards you or protects you from lightning strikes, from destroying either your home appliances or even killing someone. I had a very terrible experience. I schooled at Old Court Primary School here in Ava.
Okay.
Right. So during those days, thunder and whatever was probably at optimal whatever, we saw it kill a student.
Wow.
During those days.
Oh,
I mean, thunder, not anything. Thunder killed a student. Pathetic. And funny enough, I think that was during common entrance of a school leaving examination then. Thunder just went in and then struck a student dead. Some people might tell me to be diabolical.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we say now once we're from Nigeria.
But it's not. I don't know who is actually, I don't know much about spirituality, but me, being in the electrical industry, understand them what really caused this thunder lighting or whatever. This is actually clouds meeting together and clashing together. That's what produced these sparks and this lighting. It's not something diabolic. Yes,
there is about 300 million.
Yes, when it's strike, it's just like you bringing two stones together, and doing it like this. It will produce a spark.
Yes, definitely.
This spark travels down to finding a spike. Anything. That's why it's been advised when thunder is striking, it's either you lie down or you don't go close to it. You just either you lie down or you go into a place where you will not be becoming a spike to the thunder, because it's looking for something very, very punchy.
Okay.
It can come on your head, or even if you are with umbrella, bring it down. If you are with an umbrella when thunder is striking, you bring it down because it's looking for that spike. When it comes on you, that's when it starts causing havoc.
Okay, if thunder is striking, you don't stand straight.
No. You just lie down as you are seeing bullets where they are shooting gun.
Oh.
You have to lie down.
You have to,
or you hide. Yes, or you hide where it cannot see you, or inside your house or wherever. But if you are in an open area, lie down. If you are with umbrella, bring it down. That's what it's looking for. So I don't think, practically, there's anything diabolic about it. In as well, just like I said, I'm not spiritual enough to talk about probably there's anything diabolical about it.
We have the earthing system and the lighting
system. Yeah.
Like you said, it's just like parents.
Yeah.
A parent is a combination of the father and
the
mother.
Yeah.
One can only answer father.
Yeah.
If female gender will answer mother.
Yeah.
But when the two come together, it's called parents.
Yeah.
So that means that is why we need, and each has its own functionality.
Yes.
And that is why we need the earthing and the lightning protection system.
Definitely.
Earthing, lightning protection system. Let's forget the thunder protection. Once the two are there, we will not be facing this might of this from my village. Thunder has struck, and
definitely
this pathetic thing that happened to that young child won't have happened.
Yeah, definitely. So it won't be. Also, I will need to clear the air. In as much as I know Africans, as Africans, I would love to say Africans. I don't want to use probably Nigerian, right?
Okay.
Africans believe a whole lot in spirituality. You understand? Things cannot just happen normally. Car will have accidents here. They will say it's somebody that sent it. You understand? So tire cannot on a normal day. The tire of the car can lose out or whatever. So due to poor maintenance or whatever. So we tend to actually, when we don't know what to blame, we tend to blame on something supernatural, right? But I will need to advise our audience, listen to us. Away from, probably because, the reason why I'm saying this is because there is a client. When we are getting done with his house, that was a duplex. Then it got to the point that we need to actually install them thunder arrestor on the roof. He said, what is that? I say it's thunder protection system. With the one he will understand. He said there's nobody looking for him. There's nobody against him. That he doesn't have an enemy. I said, sir, this one doesn't do with enemy. This one is to protect you from thunder. He said, I don't need it.
He doesn't need the arrestor.
I kid you not. And me, I'm a licensed electrician. When you do some of these projects without, applying most of these safety protections or whatever, my license can be withdrawn.
Okay.
Sometimes we even have to use our money to buy those things for clients, which is very, very wrong, right? Or we even, separate ourselves from that contract, or hands off from that contract. That's what happens most of the time.
Just to protect
our image and our reputation at the end of the day. So clients should understand this, please. Even if you do not take anything home today, take this thing home. In safety, we don't say things won't happen. We ask, what if it happens? Asking the question, what if it happens, gives you the fortitude of being proactive to safeguard yourself when those things happen. And asking yourself the question of, what if it happens? Now, what will come into your mind is, what will be my last line of defense?
Okay.
When you know, they say that
yes.
When you know something is going to happen, what you're going to ask yourself is, okay, how do I now protect myself if it will really happen? Not today, not tomorrow, but definitely will happen. How do I now protect myself? And that's the reason why we are doing all these safety measures. Not that we are doing it so that it will start happening to you immediately or happening to you tomorrow, but we are putting that safety measure. But
peradventure it happens. You will be protected.
Yes. Some of your neighbors will be counting loss while you'll be smiling.
Oh.
I'll give you a practical illustration. The client is still alive. You guys can go and verify. I don't know whether he will be happy mentioning his name. Quite a very top individual in other states here. I don't want to mention his name anyway. But we did
you don't need to.
Yes, I don't need to mention his name. We did an electrical project for him.
Okay.
5-star duplex like that. And then we did earthing and thunder protection system. Now, one day, thunderstroke, 11 p.m. in the night.
I hope we are hearing. This is a practical.
This is practical. You can go and ask him. He's still alive. He's a customer. He's still alive. Then, thunderstroke by 11 p.m. in the night. His whole,
when he was about sleeping,
his whole house went blank. And then he called me by that time. When I saw the call, I know something must have happened because somebody calling you at such odd time is very, very scary. I picked up, say, Chinedu, the worst has happened. I said, what? He said, all my house has gone burnt. I said, burnt? How? He said, when somebody is afraid, I say, I go phone you.
Yes.
So he said, I said, what happened? He said, thunder stroke, and then everywhere went blank. I said, are you serious? So what really so when he says it got burnt, what he said he doesn't know that just everywhere just went blank. I said, sir, can you put me on video call? Went on WhatsApp on video call, and I said, go to your powerhouse. He was on video call with me to his powerhouse. I said, do you see any breaker that is big and is white? He said, yes. I said, is the knob down or up? He said, it's down. I said, it's off. Pull it up. He put it up. Not even one single bulb got burnt.
Wow.
Not even one single bulb got burnt. Now, this is a secret. Everybody should listen. Now, earthing, thunder protection interacts with earthing inside the ground.
Okay.
So the reason why we separate them is so that what you just do is to trigger the other pit that there is a problem
coming. Then
so that it can trip that circuit breaker off.
That is what. See, wait. So the way you connect, not the way you connected it, is that with the earthing system,
Yeah.
as the thunder was coming down there,
Yeah.
it's giving the signal to the connection, the lightning protection system you built in the house, the connection there.
Yeah.
It triggered it that the circuit breaker went off.
Yes.
You see why you will always, not all engineers will do it for you. If you like, go and meet work. You see why you need the grand, that is why he's the grandmaster. You see, they send the signal and that tripped off.
Immediately, the client is still alive.
Don't worry. We are going to cut the close here, but before we cut the close here now, what's the final word? Because that is why you see why you need to meet grandmaster. That is all, you can only get this kind of connection from the grandmaster.
Yeah.
So I don't go deep. What is the final word, please?
My final word would be, I always used to be, I will continue saying this. Electricity is hazardous and can be fatal if not handled by a competent electrician.
Like the grandmaster.
There are lots of us in there.
I said like.
Yes, like there are lots of us out there. Now, it is better safe than sorry or regret.
Okay.
Do what you have to do. If you have the money to get millions of money to build a house, earthing is below $1 million. Sometimes below $500,000. Sometimes dependent on the size of the building, right? I keep on mentioning this. Depending on the size of the building, is below $1 million, is below $500,000. It can even be below 300,000 in some cases. So maybe you not go see grandmaster talk. So dependent on the size of the building or however, it can be within these ranges I'm mentioning. Now, if you have millions, at least I don't think there's any home that is below 10 million, even if it's two bedroom flat or 3 bedroom flat. If you have 10 million naira to build a house, you should have at least $500,000 naira to do earthing or thunder protection. I know thunder protection will be a little bit costlier if it's a high-rise building. The copper tape, the original copper tape should be around, I think it's 15,000 naira per meter. Very, very costly.
Okay.
So what I would advise the audience is, please protect yourself. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. When you call me to come and solve a problem, I charge you more than when I'm doing it newly. So it's better that when you are embarking on that project, you make sure that you actually try to achieve the best so that you won't run into extra cost. As we said in our opening program on Let's Talk Electrical, about 5 mistakes electrical customers make that could cost them extra thousands of naira. One of the mistakes they make is hiring an unqualified personnel. So do your due diligence, hire the right person, and because so many people that listen to me are people living in diaspora, they can't hire OJM. We are not in US, we are not in Canada, we are not in Italy. Hire the best person. If you're in Nigeria, there are several places that you might be, it might be really costly for you to hire us there, right? In as much as we are trying to be everywhere in Nigeria. But hire an expert to give you the best so that you won't actually get to spend extra money even after doing that project.
Wow, this is where we're going to cut the end of this segment. We'll meet us next time. Same station, face to face. We'll always give it to you back to back, same time with our very wonderful guest. But he just said something, and this is where we're going to cut it from here. Prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
In all. Always get a sound engineer, the grandmaster, like the grandmaster when it comes to electricity, to fix your electrical issue. And each time, this is where you always meet face to face. TV will give you, our programs are quite sound, and they are thought-provoking and enlightening. You always enlighten us about all these things more and more. Meet us here, same time, same station, and we'll give you a better outing next time. Thank you.
Face to face, now they read my thoughts. We dey talk, we dey yarn the things for the